Do you know what the guiding principles for governing the country were for the ancient Chinese emperors, generals, and ministers? This is the I Ching, a classic embodying the supreme wisdom of Chinese civilization. It was composed by King Qian of the Western Zhou dynasty. It is said that King Zhou of Shang was afraid that the power of the Western Zhou dynasty was becoming increasingly strong. So he imprisoned King Wen of Zhou in Yulin. During the 7 years of his imprisonment, King Wen of Zhou devoted himself to the study of the 8 Trigrams of Fuxi, and he deduced the 64 hexagrams, which is what later became the Zhongwei. During the period of 2,000 years, the I Ching has always maintained an extremely lofty and noble status. Today, whenever we mention I Ching, the I Ching, we always think of fortune-telling, divination, feng shui, and so on. So, what kind of work is the I Ching? What else did the I Ching say? Today, let's delve into the I Ching. Let's start with the names of Zhou first. According to the common understanding, the so-called Yizulei means changeable. The Zhou dynasty refers to the Western Zhou dynasty or King Wen of Zhou. The Book of Changes Zhou Yi is the changes of the Zhou dynasty. From the oracle bounds of the Central Plains region, we can learn that in the previous Western Zhou dynasty, I have already been using Zhou Yi for divination, and the version of the Zhou Yi being used is the one with 64 hexagrams. The concept of separation in the Book of Changes is a traditional view of natural science in China. It is a set of rules that are different from the modern scientific system. Therefore, everyone should first break away from the scientific system they have learned, because the natural science we are studying now is the current system of natural science philosophy. Therefore, one needs to go beyond this current scientific principle in order to better understand the principles of Zhou Yi. Okay, let's get down to business. Earlier we mentioned that Yi means change. Then what is changing? The most fundamental change in I Ching is time. To be precise, it refers to the changes of the 24 solar terms. The foundation of Chinese culture is agricultural culture. Because agricultural production is necessary, the changes in time and space would be determined by farming practices. Therefore, the ancients noticed the regularity of time changes. They discovered that the positions of the sun and the moon in the sky are constantly changing every day. Everything is constantly changing. After a certain period of time, both the sun and the moon will return to the same position again. Through long-term observation, they found that this time period was roughly fixed. So they called the period between one full moon and the next one as a month. The period of time it takes for the sun to return to the same position is called a year. Thus, the ancients developed the most basic method for keeping track of time. They continued to observe the time when the crops matured. It also conforms to the regularity of the movement cycles of the sun and the moon. If no special circumstances occur in each year's cycle, the sowing and harvesting times of crops are about the same. But taking a whole year as a cycle is too long a time span. So they divided the year into different solar terms based on the growth patterns of crops. So how are the solar terms divided? The original solar terms were only 2 in number. They observed that there were always 2 days in a year that were quite special. One day has the longest daytime, while the other day has the shortest daytime. It was also the 2 days when the temperature of the sun was the highest and the lowest. These 2 days happened to be the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Thus a new concept emerged. The day with the longest daylight was called Yang, and the day with the shortest daylight was called Yin. The concept of the opposition between Yin and Yang thus came into being. Therefore, the ancients regarded the concept of the opposition between Yin and Yang as the foundation of traditional philosophy. External part is considered as Yin, internal part as Yang, upper part as Yang, lower part as Yin, length as Yang, shortness as Yin. So the symbols for representing Yin and Yang were created. Through the opposition of Yin and Yang, all things can be divided into two parts infinitely. They also discovered that yin and yang themselves are not fixed entities. Yin and yang are also constantly changing and circulating. Under certain circumstances, yin and yang can also undergo mutual transformation. In this regular variation, this rule was applied to agricultural production. The production efficiency of the ancients was greatly enhanced. Therefore, the ancients regarded the concept of the opposition between yin and yang as the foundation of traditional philosophy. The concept of change and transformation in the Book of Changes offers us significant enlightenment, informing us that things are always in a state of change. Zhou is not merely a book of divination, but a treasure trove of wisdom concerning the universe and life. It teaches us how to understand the world, grasp the laws, and cope with changes. In this era of great uncertainties, it tells us that change is eternal. But within the process of change, there are inherent laws to follow. By understanding and applying this wisdom, we can navigate through the complex and diverse modern life. Find your own balance point. Let's take an open-minded approach and re-examine this ancient classic with a fresh perspective. Help us to find our way in this rapidly changing world and achieve harmonious development of both individuals and society.